Manchester City has found a new Rodri, but can he handle the competition? Spurs are going all in for Bayern's star, while Arsenal is betting everything on Nico Williams. And the craziest news, Marco Asensio is officially at Aston Villa. What is going on? Guys, the last episode hit 300 likes. You're the best. Let's keep up the pace, 300 likes here, and a new episode drops tomorrow. It's all in your hands. Let's go! Reports suggest that Tottenham Hotspur have reached the final stages of their pursuit of Bayern Munich's Mathys Tel. The young French forward, who joined Bayern from Rennes in 2022, could soon make the move to Spurs. Tottenham are said to be the driving force behind the deal, as they are desperate to reinforce their attacking lineup. With key players out injured, this season has been a rollercoaster ride. One moment Spurs are soaring, the next they're plummeting. According to David Ornstein of The Athletic, Tottenham are negotiating a potential loan deal for Tel. However, there's a twist. Chelsea and Manchester United are also interested in adding the French talent to their squads. The race for the signature is just heating up, and here's the big question. Is the 18-year-old forward ready to make such a sudden change in his career? What are the chances of this deal happening? On paper, it makes sense. Spurs urgently need attacking reinforcements. Although Tel isn't a first-choice player at Bayern, he has proven he can make a difference off the bench. His record of 16 goals and 7 assists at Bayern may not be earth-shattering, but it's important to consider that he plays at a club where Harry Kane leads the line. On the other hand, Tel recently stated that he wants to stay at Bayern at least until the summer. But who knows how firm his stance is, especially when Tottenham are clearly determined to strengthen their squad's depth. For Tel, who is currently a squad player at Bayern, a move to London might mean more playing time. So why is Tottenham so set on signing Tel? First, due to injuries, Postecoglou has been patching up holes in the lineup. Second, Spurs understand that signing an 18-year-old talent is an investment in the future. And most importantly, Tel fits the English style of play perfectly. He's fast, loves dribbling, and quickly engages in pressing. But is this a little too optimistic? There are still questions to answer. How will Tel adapt to the tough demands of English football? At Bayern, he was a super sub, but at Tottenham, he might immediately be expected to play a key role. Could that pressure be too much? And there's another point. The deal isn't done yet, and Chelsea and Manchester United are lurking, ready to spoil the party. For now, all that's left is to wait. What do you think? Should Tottenham take the risk and sign Tel, or should they invest in a more experienced forward? Let us know in the comments. Let's discuss. Manchester City goes all in again. While other clubs carefully weigh every euro, Guardiola and his team have no problem throwing millions around. The latest big signing, Nico Gonzalez from Porto. The Spaniard is already packing his bags for Manchester. According to Fabrizio Romano, Gonzalez has signed a contract with City and will be officially presented as a new player very soon. The club agreed to pay 60 million euros for him, but cleverly avoided a lump sum payment. The fee will be split into several installments. Porto was initially reluctant to lower the price, as 40% of the deal will go to Barcelona. The Catalans are surely rubbing their hands in delight. Imagine this. They sold him for just 8.5 million euros, and now they're getting a slice of that 60 million euros. If all businesses worked like this, we'd all just invest in football. By the way, this is already City's 5th signing of the winter. Their spending this January is nearing £180 million. Guardiola may not be too happy with this season, but he clearly isn't giving up without a fight. However, there's one catch. These newcomers, including Gonzalez, are unlikely to save the current campaign. But if they adapt well, City could reach a new level next season. So, who is Nico Gonzalez? He's a La Masia graduate, but never managed to establish himself in Barcelona's first team. After a loan spell at Valencia, he moved to Porto, where he finally blossomed. He's a classic central midfielder, comfortable on the ball, unafraid of tackles, and capable of making unexpected attacking runs. In short, he's somewhere between Rodri and Gundogan at their best. The real question is, will he make it into the starting 11? With City's star-studded squad, the young Spaniard looks more like a secondary character for now. Besides, the new signings haven't been too impressive so far. Marmoush? Not quite at the required level yet. The new defenders? Still unproven. But if Pep chose Nico, it means he has a plan. Or at the very least, hope that the kid will succeed. What do you think? Should City be spending this much money in January when they could have waited until summer? Is Gonzalez the future of the team or just another bet on youth? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Oh, and if you're watching from a TV, check if you're subscribed. 95% of viewers watch without subscribing, and that's a bit sad. Try hitting that subscribe button now. It's free and only takes a couple of seconds. So what do we have? City has opened its wallet once again, Nico Gonzalez is on his way, and now we wait to see if he lives up to the investment. How much do you think loyalty to a club is worth? In modern football, at least £70 million. But it seems like Manchester United have decided that Alejandro Garnacho is priceless. Not long ago, there were rumours that he could be sold to help balance the club's finances. But now insiders insist an internal decision has been made. He's staying. United are clearly searching for money, and it's not even whispered about. It's shouted from the rooftops. Selling fringe players? Sure, but Garnacho is definitely not one of them. The guy is tearing up the left flank, progressing rapidly, and honestly, he's one of the few bright spots in the squad. And now Chelsea and Napoli have entered the picture. There were even reports that United considered swapping Garnacho for Nkunku, but Ruben Amorim stepped in. The manager made it clear players like Garnacho are the foundation of the future, and he's not just protecting Garnacho, he's emphasizing the importance of the academy. Does this mean United are finally betting on youth? Could this be the end of those pointless £100 million signings? Of course, let's not be naive. £70 million for Garnacho, given the PSR, is tempting. But United's leadership has decided now is not the time. The season is still salvageable, and selling their main attacking spark on the wing would be like throwing the last parachute out of a plane. Besides, Garnacho himself doesn't seem eager to leave. Every match, he plays like it's a Champions League final. And you know what? That kind of attitude is worth a fortune. So Garnacho stays, and United are done with transfers. Right decision or a missed opportunity? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you sell him for £70 million or keep him? And don't forget to smash the like button. Otherwise, Garnacho won't be sold to Chelsea, but on Amazon. Marco Asensio at Aston Villa. Did someone wake up this morning and think they'd landed in an alternate universe? But no, this is real. The Spaniard, who once scored in a UEFA Super Cup final and lifted the Champions League trophy 3 times, is now set to play for Villa. How did this happen? Paris Saint-Germain is sending Asensio on loan without a buy option, while Aston Villa is covering his entire salary, $120,000 per week. So, who's actually getting the better deal here? PSG offloads a player who has spent more time on the bench this season than on the pitch, just 8 League One appearances. But let's not write Asensio off just yet. Remember who he is. At Real Madrid, he showed elite quality, left-footed rockets, pace, and a great ability to play in the half spaces. Things didn't click in Paris, but that's nothing new. Not everyone thrives at PSG. Now he has a chance to prove himself in the Premier League, a league where you either adapt instantly or return to France 6 months later with a broken spirit. The most intriguing part is Aston Villa's strategy. Unai Emery is clearly building something serious. First, the loan of Rashford with a buy option, now Asensio. Add Malen and Andres Garcia to the mix. Smell that? This club is aiming for a top 4 finish and a Champions League spot. Of course, the real question is whether Asensio will succeed in England. It's one thing to control possession at PSG against Le Havre, and another to step onto Anfield, where you'll be reminded in the first few seconds that this isn't League One. But here's the catch. Villa didn't secure a buy option. So if Asensio shines, he just goes back to PSG, leaving the English club with nothing. Logical? Not really, but maybe this is Emery's short-term gamble. Strengthen the midfield now to maximize this season's potential. What do you think? Can Marco Asensio make it at Aston Villa? Or is this another case of a talented player who just doesn't fit the league? By the way, if you're watching on TV, don't forget to drop a like. It's not as obvious on a big screen, but your like actually helps a lot. Let's see how many of us are here. Arsenal continues its hunt for a forward, but now on the radar are not only Ollie Watkins and Benjamin Šeško, but also Nico Williams. And yes, these are no longer just rumors. The Gunners are ready to roll out a massive offer. Following Gabi Jesus' injury, Arsenal's attack is cracking at the seams. Havertz? Well, in the penalty area, he appears about as comfortable as a cat on ice. They attempted to secure Watkins, but that move was unsuccessful. They were also interested in Mathys Tel, but he was soon loaned out to Tottenham. And now, it seems, the Londoners have decided to switch their focus to another target, Nico Williams. But here's the question: why? Williams is a winger, not a central striker. He excels at launching attacks, thrives in one-on-one situations, and creates chances out of nothing. Yet, does Arsenal really need him right now when their primary requirement is a goal-scoring forward? According to Football Transfers, Arsenal is willing to offer more than £58 million for Nico, and that is without taking into account his wage, which could exceed £300,000 per week. However, there's a catch. Athletic Bilbao is not a supermarket where one can simply walk in and buy a product. This club rarely parts with its key players, and the players themselves are not particularly eager to leave. Just recall how many years Iker Muniain has been with them. So there are two possibilities. Firstly, Arsenal genuinely sees Williams as a key player for the future. Secondly, it might simply be another transfer hype designed to show that the club is actively working in the market. If the move does materialize, Arteta will have to adjust his tactical setup, as Williams is not a traditional number 9. But if everything falls into place, we could witness an incredible partnership with Saka on the flanks. What do you think? Is it worth Arsenal spending such money on Williams, or would it be wiser to invest in a true forward? Leave your thoughts in the comments, hit like and subscribe. Let's discuss all the transfer rumors together.